New from the night team, a new solution for an annoying rite of spring. Allergy season is right around the corner, and for many it means allergy shots. But doctors right in the area may have an alternative that could have you avoiding the needle. The night team's Brian Farrell joins us now live. And Brian, this is a very easy alternative.
You'd have to go through traditional blood or skin tests to find out what the allergy is. Once that's done, though, you could have a treatment option that might allow you to build up an immunity to your allergy that's simple and pain-free. Grass, flowers, trees, sources of some pretty brutal allergies. If drugstore aisle treatments haven't cut it, about the only other choice has been one that literally gets under people's skin.
I actually received allergy shots for 5 years when I was a kid, and I well remember the pain.
Dr. Barry Strasnick chairs the Department of Otolaryngology at Eastern Virginia Medical School. Think ear, nose, and throat specialists. EVMS recently launched its allergy division. With it, an alternative to the weekly trip to the doctor for an allergy shot.
What you do is at home put a few drops of the allergen under your tongue, let it dissolve over about 5 minutes, and you can do it on a daily basis.
It's called sublingual immunotherapy, a treatment that's been offered in Europe for decades, now making inroads in the United States. Doctors custom mix vials of liquids containing the proteins for which patients have allergies.
All of the traditional allergens that you would receive injections for are now going to be available by this droplet form. And so the typical allergens such as trees, dust, mites, dander.
The under-the-tongue treatment also can be used for food allergies, although the science for those is in its early stages. Patients who get shots usually stick around the doctor's office for about 30 minutes afterwards to make sure there's no severe reaction, which makes the biggest advantage to a few drops a day convenience.
The individual will be able to decide whether they take their allergen in the morning before they go to work or at night when they come home.
There haven't been extensive studies of this kind of therapy in the U.S., but studies in Europe have shown it to be effective and safe. To find out if you might be a candidate or for additional information, you can contact EVMS. You'll find a link to help you in this story at WVEC.com. Brian Farrell, 13 News.
Thanks, Brian. Still to come from the night team, the state inches closer to massive budget cuts. We'll have the latest details on Virginia's money shortfalls and what's being done about it.
Plus, a local church says its signs are designed to promote a Bible study, but some parents say they're far from a good message.
Also, when the game ended, the temperatures heated up. Shocking video from a high school basketball game that turns into an all-out brawl.
And flushing out potty mouths in California. Find out how lawmakers are trying to put a stop to foul language.
Very windy conditions out there right now. I'll let you know how long that continues. And 2 coastal storms, both will end up very, very big systems in the next week. We'll talk about those.
Temporary flare and fists fly after a high school basketball game in South Carolina. The game between 2 schools near Greenville had just ended when the post-game handshake turns into a brawl. Police rushed in to regain control as fans joined the players. The fight is still being investigated, and police say suspensions and arrests are likely. And welcome back. Signs meant to promote a Bible study at a local church are causing a major uproar.
They are outside the Freedom Life Church on Tide Mill Lane in Hampton. The signs, which read "Sex Lives" and "Desperate Sex Lives," are across the street from an elementary school. We're told the messages advertise a series of sermons on love and dating. The pastor says this isn't about shock value. They're a way to try and help couples grow closer. But parents whose kids go to school in the neighborhood feel differently.
I don't think that's something I want my kids exposed to on the street going to school or what have you.
Well, the school says it hasn't gotten any complaints from parents, and the church says it's gotten only one.
Tonight, drastic budget cuts for Virginia are one step closer to reality. The State House and Senate approved versions of a new budget. Both budget plans include millions of dollars in cuts to public schools and health care. Those cuts come as an attempt to deal with the state's $4 billion budget shortfall. There will now be 2 weeks of closed-door debating in order to reach a final budget.
In Richmond, several proposed bills on the chopping block officially got the axe today. A bill that would have made not wearing a seatbelt a primary offense died. So did a proposal to ban talking on cell phones while driving. Also killed was a measure to force online retailers to collect sales tax at the time of the purchase. A seatbelt bill did pass. It requires anyone under 18 to buckle up in the back seat. Currently, the law requires anyone under 16 to strap in. Some controversy is building around a proposal in Richmond to crack down on bars serving drunk guests. If passed, the bill will allow police to ask DUI suspects where they had their last drink. That information would then be given to the Alcohol Beverage Control Board. It's a misdemeanor in Virginia to serve alcohol to anyone who is already drunk. The bill now is heading to the Senate for approval.
Now the latest developments in the health care battle in Washington. That debate up close and personal today. 22 Democratic and Republican lawmakers were the guests of President Obama for a health care summit that was televised live. But as 13 News reporter TJ Winnick tells us, they sometimes struggle to keep a civil tone.
It was a short walk across Pennsylvania Avenue to today's healthcare summit, but even President Obama acknowledged the gap between Republicans and Democrats on the issue may be too far.
Politics, I think, ended up trumping practical common sense.
Republican Senator and the party's spokesman Lamar Alexander began by repeating GOP claims that the current bill should be ripped up.
We believe we have a better idea, reducing health care costs, and start over, and let's go step by step toward that goal.
They don't have time for us to start over.
Alexander later challenged the president's claim that insurance premiums would fall under Democratic legislation.
You're wrong about the bill, your bill.
I'm pretty certain I'm not wrong.
Both sides have a point. Average premiums would be 10 to 13% higher under the Senate bill, but the policies would cover more medical services, and about half of subscribers would be eligible for government subsidies. Republicans left the session with little hope for true reconciliation.
Frankly, I was discouraged by the outcome. I do not believe there will be any Republican support for this 2,700-page bill that the American people are so overwhelmingly opposed to.
Democrats could ram health care reform through by using Senate budget reconciliation rules, which would only require 51 votes. But 49% of Americans are against Democrats passing legislation without any Republican support, according to a Gallup poll released today. TJ Winnick, ABC News, Washington.
Late word from Canada tonight that the body of an actor missing for more than 10 days has been found. Andrew Koenig, who had a recurring role in the 80s TV series Growing Pains, went missing on Valentine's Day. Tonight his body was found in a park in Vancouver. Koenig's father says he believes his son killed himself. Walter Koenig said his son had been depressed well before he disappeared. Andrew Koenig was 41.
The SeaWorld trainer attacked by a killer whale died of drowning and trauma. The trainer was killed during a show yesterday at the park in Orlando. The medical examiner says she likely died from multiple traumatic injuries and drowning after the whale pulled her into the pool. Investigators say the trainer's ponytail may have tempted the whale to pull her down. For now, all orca shows are suspended at SeaWorld.